Table salt, Celtic salt, king salt, what do these all have to do with our health? Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm really excited to talk about salt today. It's been so big in my healing. My goal today is to kind of clarify why we need salt and also what kind of salt to use. If you want to see more of these videos, like, share, subscribe. Today's video is actually going to be a little bit factual heavy. Normally we kind of do more of energy healing and we release stuff, but this is actually going to be more on giving you a much more information about the products so you have a very good idea as to why you actually need them and how they're going to benefit your life. So does our body need salt? The answer is actually yes. When you break it down, the first thing our bodies need is oxygen, then it's water, and then the third item that our body needs the most of is actually sodium, which is salt. So in order for our bodies to function properly, it has to have sodium, and every cell has to have it. Here is a list of all the things that salt does, and I'm going to read this because it is so long. Salt balances electrolytes, it regulates water, it balances the pH in our bodies, which means it helps get rid of acidity and it balances the alkaline. It prevents muscle cramping, it aids in metabolism function, it strengthens bones, it lowers blood pressure, it helps intestinal absorption of nutrition. So if you don't have salt, you actually do not absorb your food. It improves circulation, it helps blood sugar, sinus health, muscle cramping, it helps with sleep patterns. Our brain is hydroelectric, which means if there is no water there, and then it cannot function. And we need salt to absorb water. There is actually a study that was done that they noticed when people with Alzheimer's, when they had their autopsy, their brains were actually a good percentage smaller due to dehydration than a normal person who had died without Alzheimer's. Salt also eliminates mucus, it helps in brain function, and it's actually the #1 thing that our adrenal glands run on. So if you have adrenal fatigue, this is something to think about. Now I want to get into the differences between the salts. So you have table salt, which is the one thing that most people use. You find it in restaurants, you have it at your dining room table, and this is the thing that most people use. Now the thing that is not great about table salt is the fact that it is straight sodium chloride. So there's about 3 different ways that you can get table salt. But one of them is they take it from a mountain, and in order to get it out of the mountain, they have to pump a bunch of water in. So then that means it dissolves in the water. It comes out, they first strip it of all of its minerals. Then is what they do is they heat it up to get rid of all the water. So is what they have left is sodium chloride, which is table salt. Then is what they have to do is they add a synthetic iodine, and then they usually bleach it also, and they add additives so that it doesn't clump. So when you get it onto your table, it's basically just one big science project. Now table salt is going to cause high blood pressure. It's also linked to stomach cancer, osteoporosis, all these things that are really not good. And the reason why is because it's just sodium and chloride. Now, yes, our body does need sodium, but not in that amount. It doesn't know what to do with it. I like to use the example of an orange. If you eat an orange, your body totally knows what to do with it. It's got fiber, it's got magnesium, it's got vitamin C in it, and your body knows what to do with all of that. And everything plays a role together so that your body can digest it, uses it energy, and it's wonderful for your body. However, when we completely take out the sugar and that's it, and you just have the sugar sitting there and you take that, your body doesn't know what to do with that. It's just a bunch of sugar. Does your body need sugar? Yes, but not in just mass as amounts of it. It needs it with fiber, it needs it with vitamin C, it needs it with potassium, it needs all those things that go with the orange in order for it to digest the sugar. Well, that is the same thing. When you strip the salt of all the minerals, your body doesn't know what to do with it. And it creates problems like high blood pressure. Now let's get into the other salts that are good. So pink salt is really popular right now, and you can really find it in a lot of stores. Celtic salt is really pretty easy to find. It is, the difference is this one comes from a mountain and this one comes from the sea. So the differences are this one's pink, this one's a little more gray, just because of the mineral content. Now they both have very similar minerals. This one's I think about 82, I think this one's about 84. And so that's really good as far as mineral content. You really can't go wrong. Pink salt is, you have to make sure that you are getting it from a good source, as with sea salt. There are a lot of contaminations that happen with the sea, and they're finding actually in the mountains that there is some contamination as well. So you have to make sure that you do your research. Now for me personally, I use both and they're both great. I really like the Celtic sea salt, and it's from Selena Naturally. That's the one that I like. I did some research to make sure their contaminant level was basically nothing. In fact, is what they do is they do pump it from the ocean, but they filter it first, and then they put them, they filter it into this pristine bed, and that is where they do all the hand harvesting and everything. So I personally like this brand. I think they do a great job. I will put a link below in the description so you know where to get it if you're interested. The reason I like this one better is because it has a higher magnesium content. And that is important because magnesium is actually what pulls the water into the cell, which is extremely important. A little bit of the downside with that is it's very high in magnesium, so it is a little wet, and that isn't a problem in cooking or anything, but when you put it in a salt grinder, it kind of, because it's a little wet, it doesn't work as great. So when I'm cooking, I use just this, but in my salt grinder, you can do a couple of different things. You can put it in the oven to dry it out. I am sometimes a little lazy, so I will use this one mostly, but I will add it together and so that it works in my salt grinder. So now we're going to talk about how you actually take the salt. Besides cooking and besides putting it on food, how do I take it? Well, there's actually 3 ways that I like to take it. There's ones that you can make a Soleil solution, and is what you do is you take a jar and you fill it with however much water you want, and then you put a ton of salt into it. In fact, you put so much salt until the salt does not dissolve anymore. And then is what, with that, once the salt is, it's so salty and you basically have seawater at that point, you take about a half a teaspoon a day in the morning, and it really gets salt in there. And then you want to drink water after that because it's pretty nasty, and that gets your body really hydrated and really absorbs the salt and the water together. The other way that you can do is you can put a little bit of the salt on your tongue and then drink water, and that draws the salt into the cells really, really quickly. The way I like to do it just on a regular basis is I get a jug of water and I put a pinch of salt in it, less than 1/8 of a teaspoon, if that, and I just drink this throughout the day. And if I'm really feeling tired or hungry and have a lot of cravings, then I will do it all day long. Sometimes I only do it like every other day. It just depends on how I'm feeling and how much energy that I'm having. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate it as always. Go ahead and put in the comments if you liked having a lot of the detail and a lot of these things explained. I'd really like to know if you guys want more videos like this and about specific products. So until next time, bye guys.